Hi guys and welcome back to a new video. In today's video, I will go through the list of what I think are the most important things you need to do right now in order to best prepare for the release of Dragonflight that will happen at the end of November, and in order to be ready to make some gold at the launch and just after the launch of Dragonflight. So I'm just going to go through this list. Again, I'm sure there are many different things that you can do, but these are, in my opinion, the best recommendations I can think of. So the first thing I would really recommend you to do is to level up all the different alts that you will use in order to make some gold in Dragonflight. This includes, of course, all the different characters that you have that have all the different professions. So it's very important, and I think professions are going to be extremely profitable in Dragonflight. So you really want to have all the different characters and all the different professions covered. Of course, also, for instance, it's always good to have maybe like a druid, maybe like a monk, a rogue, in order to do different type of farms. So try to have all these different classes that are very good for gold farming. For instance, a lot of BOE farms and things like that will require you to probably have like a druid or something like that. So just try to have all these different classes upgraded, and then like that, when Dragonflight will launch, you will be able very easily to then level up all these different alts to level 670, and like that you will be able to be efficient when making gold in Dragonflight. After that, I would really recommend you to save some gold, because it's gonna be always good to have already a little bit of gold that you can invest, for instance, in order to upgrade the different professions, or maybe if you want to flip some items early on at the release of Dragonflight. So really try to save maybe like up to a couple of millions, just so you can really start the expansion with already a lot of gold that you can invest or that you can use in order, again, to upgrade different professions. So try to do that. And if, for instance, you are planning on buying expensive item, or if you see some nice auctions on the black market auction house, just make sure that you are saving a little bit before the release. I made a lot of videos where I'm explaining how you can still make quite a lot of gold right now before the release of Dragonflight. So I, of course, invite you to go watch these videos. And I'm sure there are plenty of other guides that you can find where people explain how you can still make some decent amount of gold before the release of Dragonflight. Another important thing I would say is for you to, if you don't have access to the beta, just try to watch some guides, whether it's on YouTube or on WoW or on Google, about all the different professions and all the new changes, because this system is going to be very, very different, and there are lots of things that you will need to know. And if you want to start directly the expansion with the best knowledge, and in order to be as efficient as possible directly at the launch, you want to make sure to know how these different systems will work and what you need to do and focus on first. So unfortunately, I don't have access to the beta yet, so I was not able to do any guides on all these different professions. But in the meantime, you really have a lot of guides online. For instance, if you really just type profession from Dragonflight guides and things like that, you will find a lot of people who already covered all these different aspects. You also have on WoW like this tree calculator, and basically like some of these like models where you can really try and have an overview of all the different professions and all the different things you'll have to do in order to increase the profession and to unlock all these different items. So this is definitely something I would recommend you to have a look at. And then on YouTube, you have a lot of different creators that are already covering all these different topics. There is one in particular that I think is right now really, really interesting. It's Mentius. He's doing a lot of videos about all the different professions, and he's really trying to deep dive on all the different things you need to do and all the different aspects. So if you really want to make sure and be prepared for the launch, I would recommend you to like watch either some of these videos or just go and just read some of the guides. Another important thing you want to do is really work on a strategy, especially when it comes to the different professions. You want to know what professions you will focus on first, because these professions will take some time for you to level up. So really try and make sure to have a clear strategy. For instance, I know for a lot of people, it's going to be first focusing on gathering professions and then maybe going to crafting. For other people, it's going to be focusing on inscription and all the different Darkmoon decks. Also, for other people, it's simply going to be maybe like farming BOEs, finding other ways to like make some gold. So just Again, based on all the information you can find on internet, or if you have access to the beta, just make sure to know what you are going to focus on early on, and like that you will be able to be again as efficient as possible. Another important thing I think is trying to invest in all the different items that will become more and more difficult to get after the release of Dragonflight, and that will simply be sold on the auction house for a better price. I made a full video where I highlighted all the different items that I think you should invest in at the moment. So keep that in mind, and probably this is something that you will be able to make quite a lot of gold directly after the launch of Dragonflight or a little bit later in the expansion. Again, keep in mind you just want to make sure to save enough gold to be prepared for the expansion, but if you have a lot, you can really invest in some of these items. Another thing I would recommend you to do is try and get some of the pet charms, because you will be able to use these different polished pet charms in order to buy different pets during Dragonflight. I made a video again on that. So really try to have as many as possible, because in the first few days, you will probably be able to buy a lot of these different pets, and then you will be able to post them on the auction house for quite a lot of gold. And this is something you really want to do in the first weeks, because after that, the prices are going to be lower and lower. So really try to do it as soon as possible. Again, I made a full video explaining how you can really easily right now get some of these polished pet charms, especially with the command table from your covenant and with the different world quests. So really try to do that, and I'm sure you will get a lot. If you haven't done so, I would recommend you to download and set up all the different add-ons that I think are really important when you want to make some gold. So for instance, of course, you have TSM, all the things. You have like different add-ons. I'm personally like mostly using these two, but you also have like auctioneer. You have different add-ons that you can use, and then it will make it way easier for you to simply make some gold. So really try to do that while you have some time. And like that, again, you will be even more efficient when Dragonflight will be released. And finally, I would say just try and read as much things as possible when it comes to Dragonflight, to all the new systems and changes that will happen with the launch, simply because there will have a lot of things that you will be able to make some gold with. And the earlier you know that these things exist, the earlier you can integrate them into your strategy, and then you can really try and focus on that when Dragonflight will launch. So just try, have a look at different, again, type of news, and I'm sure you'll find a lot of different ways to make some gold. But of course, also keep in mind, I will probably make a video on the best ways to make some gold later on in Dragonflight, so you can also wait for that, but it's just up to you. So that's going to be pretty much it for today's video. I really hope it will help you prepare for the launch of Dragonflight, and I'm sure you will be able to make a lot of gold by doing all these different things early on when Dragonflight will launch. I will be back very soon with more guides and more videos, and in the meantime, I wish you all a very good weekend. Bye!